today's video, we're going to be talking about why we don't ask our horses to be on the bit in classical riding. When we talk about the horse being on the bit, that associates a lot of pressure with the horse being very connected to the bit. And the idea is usually the idea by the horse master Dorr, who said that the legs create the steam and then the hand regulates the steam. And that's a lot of the way that people ask their horse to be on the bit and what they think of when their horse is on the bit. Before I learned how to classically ride, that's what I did to try and get my horses to be on the bit. But instead of asking our horses to be on the bit, we should ask our horses for the Ramener and to try to find a soft, gentle feeling in their mouth, which in the literature is called a pui. So when you have a horse and a Ramener versus being on the bit, what you're going to have is the horse's head is going to be very high, because when the horse's head is high, that straightens them, and then the horse is going to tuck in the nose. A lot of times when you have the horse on the bit, one of the things that you see is that the horse is behind the vertical. Even in the dressage rules, it says that the horse's nose can be anywhere from 45 degrees to 90 degrees and that it should not be past 90 degrees. I've had some horses who are very thick in their throat latch and have very big cheekbones, whose noses are going to stick out a little bit more. I have some nice Iberian horses that really drop into that 90 degrees really nicely. So what you have to find is what's comfortable for your horse. And when you're looking for the Ramener, what you want is a very loose jaw. So when the horse is hanging and loose in the jaw, that really means that they have their balance and they have their freedom. If we create any sort of backwards pressure, that's going to affect that hanging quality to the jaw and affect our horse's balance and the freedom in their movement. So the way that you ask the horse for the Ramener is always easiest when you're stopped. So when I train green horses, a common thing that I have to do is stop, place the horse, go. Stop, place the horse, go. And that's a very Boucher idea. So what I'm going to do is start out by asking my horse to come up. Now, as I asked him to come up, he wanted to flex to the left. So I agreed with that by creating an opening feeling on my right rein versus a pulling feeling on my left rein. So I'm going to keep asking him up, and again, as he comes up, he should become straight. So I'm going to focus on giving on my left rein before I shorten on my right rein, and then do a little half halt to ask him to come up. So there, he's much more up, but you'll see he's not tucked in the nose yet. So I have a little bit of right bend. I might vibrate a little on my right rein. Now I'm going to lengthen on my right rein, vibrate a little on my left rein. Now I'm going to close on both my fingers. Almost, there we go. And now he dropped into the Ramener. So notice that when he dropped into the Ramener, I now have this looseness on my reins. One of the hardest things when people are learning to do this is that when the horse softens, they will take. And then when the horse softens, that's not going to reward them. And so make sure that when the horse softens into the Ramener, that you relax your fingers. And you don't have to do a big give, but it's easier to think about giving instead of saying, don't take, don't take. Because the more you think about not doing something, the more you just want to do it. So I always try to give my students something else to think of instead of don't do this. So because I already asked him to drop into the Ramener, you'll see that he's dropping much more quickly and tucking his nose much more quickly. That was the first time I'd asked him for that this day. So now you see that he's dropping into it much more quickly. Now the thing I would say is he's not quite up enough. So now he's up more, but he's not dropped. Now he's up and dropped. This is beautiful. This is great. I'm going to open my fingers a little bit. Now I'm going to do my reverse half halt and see if I can ask him to walk off. If you don't remember how to do the reverse half halt, we have a video actually with the same horse on doing the reverse half halt. And we also talk about it in our Harmony in Hand Part 1. Now again, this horse is very trained. So when I'm walking along, he's lost the Ramener just a little bit by sticking his nose out. There it is, I have it back. So it's a combination of asking for bend and asking for up. So I use my good half halts to ask for the up and I use a little bit of bend on the top part of the neck to ask my horse to drop into the Ramener, and the hind end should come under as I do this. So if I create any sort of backwards pressure with my hand, then that's gonna stop him from dropping into the Ramener. So I always wanna try to ask for this with a lot of lightness, and I can think about collecting my horse by bringing the hind legs closer to the front legs, but not creating backwards pressure at that time. Or I can think about bringing his center of gravity further back by shifting his head up. But I'm never acting on either of those things at the same time, because that would be opposition and is just gonna disconnect my horse. Now say that I lose the Ramener, so I kind of lost it a little as I stopped. There we go, I have it back. So say I lost it when I was going, I stop, I ask the horse for the Ramener, I ask him to walk off, and say I did lose it just a little bit, so I could stop, especially if I have a green horse, and get him to drop into the Ramener, and there we go, I walk off. Now this horse is, like I said, more trained. So when your horse starts to get more trained, if they lose the Ramener as you're going, you can put it back together as you're moving. But if you can't get it, don't be afraid to just stop and ask your horse to get into the Ramener. And don't be surprised if this is repetitive. I know it's a pain in the butt. I have to do it all the time, but every time I do it, I'm always thankful that I did. So let us know how that goes in the comments.